Hey, just stopping in for a midweek check-in. How are you guys? Hope everybody's having a good week so far. Um, I'm having a pretty good week. Having a pretty good week, and I think every day, every week is opportunity to do something better, to learn something, to expand on something, to enhance upon something, to improve something. So. Um, I'm having a good week, I guess, so far, minus just the regular sads and disappointments that you're just continuing to hear and read about in the community and in the culture, just on a large scale from state to state. It's really sad, but having an okay week. Um, I did want to I had something on my brain that I wanted to kind of just talk about a little bit. And I noticed that a lot of times we are not getting where we're trying to get to because we're too worried about what other people are doing. And I feel like we keep saying that. And I feel like I keep seeing videos that talk about that. And yet it just seems like it keeps happening more and more. And so I thought maybe if I break it down in a different kind of analogy, maybe somebody will understand it and get it and be like, oh, I don't know, right? I don't know. Sometimes we hear stuff, we just don't get it, but somebody else can say it and then it makes sense. Like, oh, that makes sense. So here's my attempt at it. Focus on your own lane. Like, be in your own lane. Like, know your own lane. Like, you're headed out and you have a destination that you're trying to get to, which is totally fine, right? And so you have a lane, like in traffic to be in. Be in your lane. Like, know the potholes. Like, don't when you're driving down your neighborhood or in your area, that there's a particular pothole or that lane is bumpy, right, on that side, or that there's a hole in the middle of the road here or a speed bump on that street. Like, these things about your neighborhood. So you respond accordingly, right? When you're driving, you maybe get into the far left lane when you turn so you can avoid that. Or where I live here in Houston, when it rains really bad, obviously I want to be on the road, period. But there's certain, like the far right, the water comes into the lane. And so if you're in that lane, you're going to, hit water everywhere, hydrant, all that, right? So that when you're driving in your particular lane, because you understand that. So you're moving accordingly. You're making the right moves to avoid that, or, to go a little bit slower through that part, or that there's a car in front of you. That's probably why they're going a little bit slow, right? Because you're paying attention to those things because it's in your lane. And those are the things that you're paying attention to, right? And your surroundings. That's it. Be in your lane. What you are doing and what you're trying to accomplish and where you're trying to go is yours. Like, that's your area. That's your spot. And if you're focused on what's happening in your lane, you don't really have time to focus on what's going on everywhere else, right? Like, you're aware of it so that if you need to make adjustments or move, that's fine. But to be focused in somebody else's lane while you're driving doesn't benefit you at all, because now you've lost the focus and the direction and the attention from where you're going, and now you're focused on somebody else. That doesn't make any sense at all. Have you ever been in traffic and you're like driving and the car in front of you starts braking or slowing down and you're like, what is going on? And you look over, and in this lane to your right, these cars are braking. So now everybody in this lane has started to brake, and there's no reason for us to be braking over here. But because the person in the front has their attention over here, they're now causing a problem over here, right? Like, do you get where I'm going? Like, you're focused on something else. So now that I'm in my lane and I realize what's going on, I have an option now to like move lanes. It's still my lane because now I'm moving it because I need to get to the destination. And being in this lane is going to slow me down, or I'm going to get stuck, or I'm going to get stopped, or an accident because somebody else isn't paying attention. And because it's my lane, I'm going to shift to a different lane. And now that's my lane that's still going the same way. My lane, as I'm paying attention, I'm going forward and I'm getting ready to come across an intersection. It's paying attention to what's going on in that intersection because I'm in the lane that's going to cross across that intersection, right? Like, if you take your eye off of your own lane, you're going to start finding problems that you could avoid. Focus on your own stuff, not somebody else's. When you see a car pulled over on the side of the road, like, I don't know, an accident or somebody's changing their tires, whatever, right? It's happening. And people start slowing down, you start slowing down and looking and, oh my goodness, and all that. You have now slowed down. You have become very stagnant in your lane. You are no longer moving forward. You do realize that, right? Like you have slowed all the way down. So now you've probably missed the light, which now is probably going to make you late to where you're getting to, or now you're going to end up behind a train on the next street, or now because you slowed down and you started paying attention to somebody else, you have now caused yourself in your lane to be running into problems in the future. Do not worry about what's going on in somebody else's lane. Focus on your own. The only time you should be worried about that car on the side of the road on that lane is if you are truly about to help. If you are truly trying to help that person in that lane. But to be here trying to go forward and in somebody else's lane just to see, and oh my God, ooh, they're tired. Ooh, how was they driving on that? And ooh, how did they do that? Ooh, I can't believe they made it this far. Is that two people? Ooh, is that, ooh, all of that right there. When you do that, your lane is now, you're not moving anymore. You have now stopped and gave your attention somewhere else. Focus on you and what you got going on. That is the key to all of this, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. Focus on your own lane. Be in your own lane. Whatever's going to get you to where you're trying to get to, that's what you need to be focused on. It doesn't matter how somebody else is doing it. It doesn't matter how somebody else got there. It doesn't matter who's helping so-and-so. That stuff doesn't matter. Focus on your own stuff. Do it your own way. Like legit. Figure it out for you and then do it. And I say that because I just noticed so many times people are so talking about what somebody else did or what somebody else is doing or how they're doing it or why somebody helped that person or why these people don't like these people because they're not doing it the way, or, oh, you know, we was at the concert, we went backstage and she didn't go backstage. So, and you have an opportunity to be backstage or to be courtside or to be front row or to be on whatever. And that's the favor or whatever that you have that you get to participate in, and you're in it and you worried about how come somebody else isn't there, but you're not helping them to get backstage or on the stage or on courtside or front row with you. You're doing the wrong thing. Okay. Worry about being in the moment, in the present, in the things that are good that are happening in your life, instead of worrying about how come so-and-so was in the fifth row instead of the first row. That doesn't matter. Enjoy your first row experience and let them enjoy their fifth. You don't know why, and they don't owe you an explanation. Just the same way you don't owe that person an explanation as to why you on the front row and they on the fifth. Mind the business that minds you. Focus on your own stuff. There could be 10,000 of us doing the same exact thing. 10,000 of us have a very different approach, a very different mindset. We're going to have a very different audience. We're going to have a very different belief to it. We're going to have a very different idea of how it should be done. And that's totally fine. Stay in your lane. There's nothing wrong with learning from other people. There's nothing wrong with taking a few notes or lessons from people. But if your intent is to be in somebody else's lane about how they're doing stuff or getting stuff done, you in some business that don't pertain to you. And the more times that you're spending in somebody else's business, the less likely you are focused on your own stuff. So when you look up and you're not further along and you up here and you back here and everybody else that went on and you can't figure out why, and you all upset again in somebody's lane again, focus on your own lane. Because while you focused on these people's lanes, these people are actually in their lanes getting stuff done because they're not worried about you driving by, seeing them. They're in their lane getting their tire changed so they can get back on the road and keep on going. They're not worried about the fact that you have drove by and you looking. They don't care. They focused. You're the person who's not focused. You're the person who's holding you back with your inability to stay focused and your inability to keep your attention in your own lane. Stay in your own lane. That's it. Like, that's really the whole premise of this whole video. Is I just wanted to remind people that there's nothing wrong with your lane. There's nothing wrong with staying in your lane. There's nothing wrong with being in it. Like, that's the whole point. Find your destination and figure out the best way to get there. You may have to turn off of this street. to get there. You may have to get in this lane to get there. You may have to go over here to get there. You may have to get on the freeway and then the frontage road and then, take a back street to get there. That's totally fine. Those are all of your lanes that you're in. Focus on that and use them to get to where you're going so that you can reach the destination. But if you're too busy up in somebody else's lane and in somebody else's business and hitting the brakes because you've seen somebody else brake, you're doing too much. And you don't have nobody to be upset with or mad at except yourself when you look up and you realize you're not living your best life. You're not accomplishing the things that you want to. You haven't achieved the goals that you want, that you've set out, because you're too busy worried about other people. It does not matter what they're doing, how they're doing it. Do you for you. Bottom line. Okay, so that's what I wanted to say today. I don't know why, but that has been on my brain for like a week. And today I was just really like, because I hear so much stuff and see stuff all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to say it today. Today is the day. So this Good Wednesday, y'all got my lane, ride your own lane speech this day. So I hope you guys have a great and awesome rest of the week. I am planning to go live this Friday evening. I will post it and let you guys know when so that you can join the conversation and chat with C. But otherwise, have a great and awesome week, and remember to stay in your own lane today. Friendly reminder, have a great day.